Learn tonight's latest news surrounding Frenkie de Jong, as reports are strongly suggesting that we are actively monitoring the player that Manchester United feel they're close to signing. On top of this, we have big updates from Raheem Sterling, as some early reports are suggesting that a fee has finally been found and agreed, with a fee coming soon for Nathan Ake. And to end things, of course, we have to discuss the updates surrounding Raphinha. It's suggesting that maybe Barcelona have beaten us to the signing for Raphinha. So many things to discuss and break down. Hope you guys are loving the content and the efforts throughout this month. If you do, please smash that like button and help me get 3k likes without wasting any more time. So right now, let's start with the latest updates surrounding Raheem Sterling and Nathan Ake. We'll start with the tweet released by Romero, as he says, conversations are currently ongoing for Sterling and Nathan Ake. Things are progressing very well. Man City have to sell a player first before they can, allow the medicals now for Phillips and Cucurella. So it does seem like, based on just my personal opinion, this won't be a double deal. We'll probably do business separately for both players. Hopefully, in total, that might bring down the overall fee, because we're giving so much money up front to Man City for 2 of their players. So let's continue on with the reports, you guys, as other reports now coming from Football London and a few other social media accounts that are known for being quite reputable are saying that a fee has been agreed for Raheem Sterling. That fee is set at 55 million. I mean, the player has 1 year left on his deal, and it's kind of crazy to think that Man City have basically just had Sterling for nearly 7 years, and they're getting the same transfer fee back that they originally spent to buy the player to begin with. So it's so crazy how the value for players now is at a ridiculous level. But this 55 million move will be broken down as 40 million up front with 15 million in add-ons. So potentially it goes all the way up to 55, but it depends on if Sterling, of course, matches the clauses in the deal. Now, normally I don't report on things from social media, but I have seen these accounts a few times before, and I feel maybe confident that we'll get the full breakdowns and the full insightful articles from the big journalists coming very, very soon. But we know that City are most likely going to sell Sterling for between that value. And the fee for Nathan Ake, they're still hoping to get over 50 million for him. But Jacob Steinberg from The Guardian has reported that maybe a fee of up to around 45 million could be the final price needed for Man City to sell Ake. A lot of things are happening. It seems like the first official signings are coming very soon. I'm imagining them to come during this month, maybe after we've had like the official launch of the new kit. Maybe afterwards then we'll see players confirmed so they can actually be like marketed and take photos in the new kit. That's just my personal hunch on how things will play out, with Man City needing to sell players right now. It does seem like hopefully we're getting some benefits now when it comes to negotiating to sign their players. So it seems like Raheem Sterling is set to become one of the first signings of the new Todd Boehly era. Thomas Tuchel has wanted this guy for a long time, has a lot of belief in him as well too, and feels like he will complement things tactically as well. This is a big opportunity for Raheem Sterling to sign for us now and be like the big player here, the star name, the player to try and take our attack in this club to the next level. And I'm liking the ambition that both him and Ake are showing in wanting to challenge the dominance set by Man City. They would have seen it themselves. They would have been affected by it themselves, of course, being in and out of the team as the recent seasons have gone on. So both these players have a big opportunity now to become the first team players they feel they deserve to be. How do you guys feel about Raheem Sterling? How do you guys feel about Raheem Sterling? It seems like he'll be set to sign very soon. And how do you feel about our continued efforts now for Nathan Ake? Is this the signing you're happy with, or do you have some doubts behind our interest? We now move on to the next story, and a massive info dump was released by Jacob Steinberg from The Guardian, and this report was very interesting, very surprising, and essentially states that we are expressing interest in monitoring the situation with Frenkie de Jong at Man United. If de Jong's move to Man United does fail, flop, fall through, expects us to show some interest in this area. Now, I find this report very interesting. I don't think this is made up or a lie, absolutely not. But I find it interesting because it's quite obvious the club are still keeping an eye out on midfield talent, and I'm guessing that's in case any midfield players decide to leave. Now, I'm guessing Kante, from my personal hunch, will remain, but a few reports here and there have said that if a great offer came, he could be made available. Jorginho as well, we're finding out whether Juventus show some concrete signs to try and sign him. They're seeing him as an option, but not the main one at this point in time. Or whether the player gets other opportunities and offers back home in Italy as well. So it comes down to this. We're not signing a midfield player until one gets sold and leaves first. But adding Conor Gallagher now to the mix, we have squad players already in Ruben, Gilmore, amply may get opportunities to show what they can do. I understand why the club would be actively pursuing targets and looking at the best ones available, especially when, you know, certain talents like De Jong are available on the market. Now, De Jong isn't necessarily excited to be signed for Man United. It seems like he's begrudgingly accepting his fate. United have agreed a fee of around 56 million plus add-ons. Barcelona needs to raise money right now. They've had to sacrifice Frenkie de Jong, and from the photos I've been seeing on social media, the guy doesn't seem too pleased at this point in time. You know, De Jong, he wants Champions League football. You know, when you're at Barcelona, a massive club like that, how can this recent Manchester United team satisfy your demands and satisfy your ambitions? It's impossible. Anyway, the article goes on to state that we have actively been scouting De Jong since he was first making his name at Ajax, so it's not like this guy is not on the books and like a complete unknown. But again, midfield for me just isn't that priority. And another concern I have as well is that I kind of feel like Frenkie de Jong and Kovacic are like the same style of player. Do we need to have two of those players in the team and in the squads? I mean, I'm not too sure. I mean, they both do their best work at receiving in their half and ball progression, breaking the lines, speeding up attacks, playmaking, etc, etc. I can't see them both playing together. De Jong, maybe I'd say, has like better finishing inside the books. If we became a 4-3-3 team, I think De Jong could be quite an interesting option on the right hand side of a midfield three, alongside maybe like a Mount on the left and Kante, Rice, Cover, whoever playing as a DM, because, you know, I do see De Jong as that glue in midfield, the link-up guy, and I like those midfield three combinations of having like your DM destroyer, obviously your box-to-box presence to get inside the box, and the guy opposite who either like wins the ball back or literally like links the play and is the glue in midfield. But still, it feels like a bit of an extravagance at this point in time. We're seeing that we're talking to players like Linkovic-Savic. We're showing interest in Frenkie de Jong. We've had an approach with Declan Rice turned down. So it's telling us that there are plans to upgrade the midfield. But I guess the priority right now is to get the attack ready, get the defense ready. And I'd imagine as the window gets near its end, then we'll see bigger efforts made from midfield players. Still, de Jong is a great player. He really is. But I just kind of feel with profiles the team already has, is he necessarily a player that we need? He'd be great if he signed a lit too. Lit and de Jong had a very good relationship playing out from the back, so I understand it. But for me, once the season starts and we have like a full selection of fresh players, I can't see Cover and de Jong being that midfield, because that means one of these guys would have to sit back, which is what they both don't want to do. This is why Frenkie de Jong couldn't fulfill that Busquets role, because he's too good at getting forward. He has too many forward instincts. I'm not too sure about why we'd be monitoring him, but I understand it maybe if he's a good player, and maybe I don't know what could be cooking up behind the scenes at the club. So you guys, what's your thoughts and opinions on Frenkie de Jong? And now ending things with a big update on Raphinha, Gerard Romero. And he breaks down that Barcelona have won the race to sign Raphinha. We've lost the competition for him. Barcelona have agreed a fee of 60 mil. And essentially this deal has gone through because of Raphinha's will and desire to only sign for Barcelona. We know in my previous video that he told Deco in particular, get Chelsea to an interest in me. You know, he's telling Leeds, I only want Barcelona. Leeds, of course, want to keep that gentleman's agreement. They get more money up front in the deal if they sign him to us. But ultimately, Raphinha's saying, listen, I'm going to control my future. I'm not going to go to a club, but my dream club is literally in the grasp of my hands. I can't let this opportunity slide. So I respect it. I get it. Romero states that Barcelona have offered the player a €6 million season deal, around £5 million a year, that has been accepted by the player. He'll be signing on a 5-year deal as well too, and I wonder what this means for Ousmane Dembele. It seems like Barcelona are still showing hopes to try and sign him. Of course, they're looking at Lewandowski, but it's starting to come to a situation now where Barca would have to decide whether they have to sacrifice their pursuit for Lewandowski and focus on what they have. We still don't know what's happening at this point in time. Again, with this report in particular, I feel that the context of the news coming out, you know, I've seen this guy maybe tweet a few things and the news has followed on from the other journalists after they finally had their pieces released online. So this is why I'm inclined to, you know, talk about the story, because, you know, as I'm really stressing you guys, I really don't use Twitter at all when it comes to getting my news, because I think it's a bit too inconsistent. And yeah, unless I've got some faith behind the stories I'm reading. You'll never hear me discuss them on BlueLionsTV. So I'm starting to accept the fact that we might just not be getting Raphinha. I just think with the player right now and the fact that Barca have agreed, I'm starting to feel a bit inclined that we might not be signing Raphinha, but the only hopes we have to get this deal done is that our offer is just way better than Barcelona's. For example, not only are we offering more money up front, but the add-ons on top of this deal could potentially earn Leeds up to 75 million in total. So they're receiving more money up front plus greater add-ons in the future. If they're accepting this offer from Barcelona, they're doing a massive favour to Deco, doing a massive favour to Raphinha. Could they be doing some secret things on the side? Maybe Barcelona out of a few La Masia grads to Leeds for a few seasons. Who knows? You know, football, you can never rule out these types of negotiations taking place and going down. But again, I feel if the player doesn't want to be here, I think Barcelona could find solutions to get this deal done. And I feel like Leeds could potentially just bow down to Raphinha and accept his demands. So how do you guys feel about this? I'm sure there'll be even more stories and updates coming out ready for tomorrow. Yeah, it's been a mad period. The next few months are going to be absolutely crazy too. And I hope you guys, of course, embrace this craziness with me on BlueLionsTV. So on that note, I'm in the FC. This is BlueLionsTV. Catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.